Gang, it looks like that we got another virus coming in before GTA 6. Society, when it was my turn to be an adult. Yeah, is it time to run for the hills? Is it time to hoard on this toilet paper? Well, let's find out. I do smell a whole lot of fear-mongering in this video, however. Don't like, don't subscribe, but yeah, let's get to it. Roll it.
Thermal screening at airports, quarantining and testing, and a deadly virus that spreads from bats to humans.
That's a cute little bat right there.
Sound familiar?
Yep.
This time we're talking about Nipah virus after 2 cases were recorded in India's West Bengal state. Countries across Asia have stepped up their measures, including India, Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong and Malaysia, prompting many to...
Always China and India. Why? Because that's where billions of people live, and that if they spread it there, it's gonna spread fast. But however, they are saying this virus is not that contagious, so that is good. Uncle Bill Gates wouldn't like to hear that news though, after what happened, so...
Ask,
allegedly.
will this be another pandemic?
Yeah,
Let's get into it. Nipah spreads from animals to humans, putting it in the same category as COVID and Ebola. The virus comes from fruit bats, but can spread to other animals and humans through contaminated food.
Love it.
It can also spread from human to human through close contact.
It typically can
So limit those intimate moments, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, control the world population, man. We need to control the world population.
It's a flu-like illness. Some people can get a cough, some people get diarrhea, but the most feared complication is a brain infection called encephalitis.
The World Health Organization says Nipah kills between 40 and 75% of the humans it infects.
Yeah.
There's also no vaccine or medicine to treat it. But if that's the bad news, here's the good news.
It doesn't seem to spread that easily.
Yep,
so outbreaks have generally been terminated with good public health measures.
So all the people that are like plotting and they are getting ready to sell the masks for quadruple the price, for a tenth the price, sorry guys. Maybe not this time, okay? Maybe not this time. And all of you that are worried that, hey, I want to run to the hills, I want to hoard on those toilet paper, not so fast. I think it's good. I think we got good news here, so, but we also have Dr. Jin chiming in. I want to show you that video in a second. Wait for it.
The cases in West Bengal were both health workers, and around 200 of their close contacts have been tested with no further infections. Australia is watching closely.
We have very clear protocols for sick travellers. We've got no advice to change those protocols at this stage, but we're monitoring really on a daily basis.
This was ground zero, but all they knew then was pigs had a killer illness.
The virus isn't new. It was first identified in pigs in Malaysia back in 1998, killing more than 100 people and decimating the country's pig farming industry. And 7:30, then hosted by Kerry O'Brien, asked the same questions we're asking now.
So we still haven't developed like the antidote to it, right? It happened all the way like back then, 1999, so 27 years ago from now, right? Yeah, so we still haven't developed the ticks, right? I guess we humans, we only work when things go south, you know, when things become batshit crazy. When shit hits the fan, that's when we function, man.
How concerned should we be about an outbreak of the Nipah virus?
Once again, something has taken our smug human arrogance and said, ha, surprise, here it comes, another microbe.
27 years on,
That was 1999 and this is 2023.
Seen small outbreaks most years reported in Bangladesh and India. But fewer than 800 cases have been recorded since 1998. To put that in perspective, the 2014 Ebola outbreak saw more than 28,000 cases in a couple of years.
Oh, I remember that. I was like finishing up high school, I believe, around that time, give or take. I don't remember exactly. I would have to take a second to process and think about it. But yeah, give or take that timeline. Wow, I remember that. You know, on the Facebook and everything like that, people were going nuts. People were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And thank God, and it didn't spread because Ebola was, honestly, bro, at that time, Ebola was considered to be like the big boss level, you know? Oh, shit. That was, yeah, exactly. Like everybody was saying, oh shit, oh shit. Like it was truly, was insane back then after hearing the symptoms that, you know, yeah, I don't even want to say those symptoms right now.
Then during COVID, there were almost 780 million cases worldwide, and it's thought the actual number was much higher. The small number of cases is part of the reason why there's currently no vaccine.
even though there have been outbreaks every year, they've been small outbreaks, and they haven't been in big Western countries.
Several vaccines are in development, including one by an Australian research team that's using an antibody.
Could you imagine? I mean, it's good, right? Like, if they are working on it, that's good. We want that. But at the end of the day, though, like, would you... Yeah, like, people that actually got the jab for the Rona for COVID, like the ticks. Imagine, like, this actually spreads and they're like, yeah, man, we gotta get another jab. That would be insane, bro. How many jabs do we need? By the way, I didn't get the jab or anything like that. Let me know if you ended up getting the jab or not getting the jab. The biggest issue at that time was how much political people made, and the media also made, right? Like, people were looking people who didn't get the vaccine as like peasants. Like, what are we talking about? People were questioning it, but you were not allowed to question what was in the vaccine. Like, how is it gonna impact me 5 years, 10 years? Yeah, right now they're saying it's good, get the jab, get the ticks, but hey, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, 40, 50 years from now, like, what are gonna be the side effects, right? But you were not allowed to question that. So I really hope, if shit goes south, first of all, let's hope, guys, let's take our right hand, left hand, send a prayer out. Let's hope it doesn't go down. I don't think it will go down though, but you never know, man. After the files that have released, they probably need another distraction. And if Uncle Bill Gates don't feel cute, or if he feels cute, he might drop another one, man, allegedly. So you never know, right? So let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Found in alpacas, so watch this space. In the meantime, experts say it's not cause for alarm yet.
Yeah.
It is very unlikely that Nipah is going to cause a pandemic in its current form.
Yeah.
Like COVID, like influenza, it can mutate. So that is why it's so important to keep an eye on these outbreaks, to make sure that the virus isn't changing its behavior.
Yeah, let me actually show you guys this as well, right? Quickly though, I gotta shout out the homie Millard for becoming a brand new member on the channel, the homie Ego for 38 months. That's crazy. Yo, shout out to all of you guys out there for all the love, especially the homie Ego, Millard, and Pow Wow in my pants. Big pose on that one. Timothy, Free, Bobby Nix, Barish, and Aunt Gigi or Aunt Gigi. Love Aunt Gigi though. Thank you guys so much for all the love on the channel, becoming members. Also, Evie and Quick Reaction for the super thanks as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel during these trying times. But let's actually check this one out. Oh, roll it.
Now, new cases of the deadly Nipah virus in India have countries in Asia on high alert this morning. But what does it mean for us here in the U.S., and how will it impact those traveling to Asia? NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer is in Beijing this morning with more. Janice, good morning.
Chilling in Beijing.
Chanel, good morning. There is a lot of concern about this Nipah virus. It's contagious between humans and often deadly. But over the weekend, the World Health Organization said the risk of Nipah spreading is low. 2 cases of Nipah were detected in India. The virus has a fatality rate of 40 to 75%. So it's higher than COVID.
That's the part that is like really bad, right? So you might not want to get intimate, guys, especially when you're unsure about it. But other than that, it's not contagious. If this becomes contagious, I'm pretty certain. Even if it, if it actually does, there will be a whole lot of conspiracies, just like the COVID times and all that. I wonder, I'm not totally sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but were there traces of COVID in the EP files? I don't want to say his name because this video is different, so I don't want to throw that name in this video because YouTube will classify this as a different video and I don't want that. But I wonder if there were, I could be wrong, I believe I heard somewhere, but that might be false, but yeah, correct me.
And there's no vaccine for Nipah. Authorities in India quarantined 200 people who may have come into contact with the 2 infected. And as of today, no other suspected cases have been reported in any country. Still, airports across Asia, here in China, in Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Hong Kong, they're all taking steps to screen passengers for any symptoms. Nipah is transmitted from animals, usually pigs or fruit bats, or through contaminated.
Yeah, quit eating those fruits, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joking. By the way, like, if you have been traveling, let me know if you actually experienced something like that at the airports. I think it's good. Prevention is better than cure. Do you want to get another jab? Not me though, right? Like, I don't, so I would rather, I'll 100% be for prevention over cure. People that wash their hands before taking a piss. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, wash your hands before taking a piss and wash your hands after. Very important. Afterward, that's the main part, okay? If you don't wash your hands before, that's one thing. But you gotta wash afterward, because I know there are fellas out there that wash their hands before, but not after. I mean, like, what are we doing, bro? But that's a topic for not another day, because I don't want to ever talk about that topic. Bruh. Let's actually get back to this bull squish.
Food. It doesn't jump easily to humans, but when it does, it hits like the flu, but can lead to pneumonia or, in the worst cases, inflammation of the brain.
Why is it always like the flu? So if you get the normal flu, all of a sudden you're expecting it to be the worst thing imaginable, right? Like whenever you get hit with the flu, you're like, oh my god, I got COVID. Oh my god, I got this vitamin N formula virus or some crap like that. Yeah, you know, so...
The WHO says the fatality rate has a lot to do with a country's capacity to trace and treat those infected. But naturally, people get worried when they hear about a contagious virus because the COVID pandemic...
You know, we need to get the toilet paper. Yeah, absolutely. People get worried.
The pandemic wasn't that long ago. So U.S. health officials and those at the CDC say they are watching this situation very closely. Guys, back to you.
All right.
I hope so. Let me actually show you this. What the hell is going on in Canada right now? Uh-oh! I also want to get down to Dr. Jen in a second because she also responded on this entire matter. I do believe if this, I don't think it will. Like the first guy also said that he don't think that this will be contagious or go like pandemic level. Myself included, I don't think that will, because it's not that contagious, at least that's what we're hearing. But if it actually does, I think people will politicize, not necessarily people, but media will jump on it, then people will politicize it, so that will be, yeah, that will be another virus in itself, I guess, right? So there will be that, but if it actually happens, people won't believe it. I don't think this time it wouldn't be that bad because of COVID and how tiresome people were because of it, but yeah, first of all, I don't think it's gonna be that contagious, and I hope it's not, to be honest. I guess we're all sick and tired of that, so.
A handful of confirmed cases in India have prompted the heightened screenings in Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, among others.
It's not the first time this has happened. So there have been outbreaks ranging from a couple of cases to as many as 18 cases. Usually the outbreaks of this are rather small. They're identified pretty quickly because people are aware of this virus and know what to look for.
Nipah virus is considered endemic in South and Southeast Asia, meaning a certain number of infections are generally expected. However, despite being relatively rare, there are concerns given how aggressive the virus can be.
It can cause multi-system organ failure, but it has a predilection for causing an encephalitis, which means an inflammation of the brain.
Initial signs and symptoms vary, but can include...
How does it feel for inflammation? Like, does it, like, your head, like, swells and it just, like, becomes wide? Or is it, like, yeah, like, what happens? Like, is it headaches or... Yeah, how does it feel? Just let us know, man, so we know, you know what I'm saying?
Fever, headaches, muscle pain, vomiting, and...
I guess they did, okay, so they did. My bad.
Sore throat. This can be followed by dizziness, drowsiness, and altered consciousness.
The death rate varies from outbreak to outbreak, but is of the order of about 45 to 75% mortality rate. Against that, a proportion of cases, up to about half of cases, might have no symptoms whatsoever.
The virus predominantly spreads through fruit bats.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a cute little bat right there. Yeah, stop eating fruits, guys, I guess.
In rural areas.
It's what's called a zoonotic disease. Most humans catch it from the fruit bats or from animals.
Human-to-human transmission is possible, but less common.
Almost all the human-to-human transmission has occurred in household contacts who are caring for somebody at home.
Yep.
Who is...
Don't get too intimate, guys. Don't get too intimate. Not good right now. Nowadays, it's not too good.
Very ill. So this is not the sort of thing that is transmitted through the air where you can get it from just having been across an airport from somebody.
Doctors say the risk in Canada remains very low.
Wow! I mean, that's good. That's good. That's good. Otherwise, I would have been saying, bring on the asteroid! You know, otherwise I would have gone batshit like that. But check this out, and I gotta go to Dr. Jane in a second. Roll it.
Is essential to accelerate this process.
Ooh.
Research and development efforts must be scaled up significantly.
Yeah.
This includes funding basic science, preclinical studies, and clinical trials. The urgency of this work can
thank you for subscribing, appreciate it.
Not be overstated. Furthermore, any developed countermeasures must be accessible and affordable to all populations at risk. Equity in distribution is just as important as the development.
The COVID vaccine was free. I mean, okay, I don't know about like other countries, but at least here it was free. I guess in the United States and all the Western countries it was free. I mean, here, bro, they were even paying people to get the jab. Yeah, I remember I got the letter at home and they were like, yo, man, we'll pay you, get the jab, get the thick things. And I was like, bruh, nothing is free. If something is free, you are the product. You are the product. So I remember hearing that, and that always stuck with me. So I'm like, yeah, no, if they're gonna pay me to get the jab, get the hell out of here. I ain't getting that shit. But things were bad, especially I know for the fact that there were some people that didn't want to get the jab, but they got it because they couldn't enter their workplace. So it was, yeah, forcefully. They were hitting people, or people needed to get that. They were forcing people badly. The only reason I didn't get it is I didn't want to get it, obviously, because I was concerned, like later down the road, like what's the side effects, right? I was asking these questions. And secondly, I work from home, so I'm self-employed and all that. So that's probably the only reason I didn't get it. Now, had it been I was working somewhere, yeah, they wouldn't let me enter the workplace and I gotta put food on the table, so chances are high that I would have probably got it. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, so I can only imagine somebody that needed to provide for their family. There are, let's just say, 35, 40s, or 50s, and, they need to work. They need to get to work and provide for their families, and if they don't get the jab, even if they didn't want it to, well, yeah, shit, they're out of luck, so... Perhaps let me know if that actually happened to any of you guys where you had to forcefully get the jab, otherwise they wouldn't let you at work. Yeah, that was actually bananas. I mean, I get it to a certain degree. You don't want the virus spreading out, but I mean, yeah, no, people had questions like, yeah, like what are the side effects, right? What are the long-term side effects, which honestly are very valid question, but they politicized it so much that it was just insane. I hope it doesn't go batshit crazy like that. So
development itself. A global solution requires global access. The world cannot afford to remain unprepared against such a lethal pathogen. Investing in these countermeasures now will save countless lives and prevent future global health crises. It is an investment in our collective future.
Okay, so this is like way too fear-mongering, okay, whatever, okay, let's actually get down to Dr. Jen. Yeah, I want to hear this first of all, okay, before we get to Dr. Jen, check this out, roll it.
So what should they know about health risks in certain tropical places or these popular beach destinations outside?
Don't go, stop it for now, man.
Of Canada, what would you advise them to do to stay protected?
The best thing to do is to get medical advice before you go on a trip, especially to a tropical area where there's infections that we don't routinely have here. And a good travel medicine specialist will be able to support families and patients and people with good advice on how to prevent infections transmitted from food and water, how to infections transmitted through insect bites. And sometimes people are traveling to areas that have, for example, malaria, where you can take tablets to prevent this infection, which can be very, very severe. It's a very common infection globally. And again, some smart steps you take before your trip can ensure that you have a healthy, safe, and happy trip. Avoid bug bites, appropriate food and water.
But how do I tell the bugs to not bite me? Like, those motherfuckers would bite me regardless if they feel cute, you feel what I'm saying? So, we're quite literally...
decisions, and you'll have a healthy, happy trip. But get advice before you go from a trained professional.
Right. Okay, so that's his advice. Let's see what Dr. Jen gotta say. Shout out to Dr. Jen, obviously. Roll it.
Dangerous it is, what the symptoms are of the disease, what the treatments are. You don't want to go anywhere for that. How it's transmitted, and so much more. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. It's good to see you. Now, the Nipah virus causes disease that can spread between animals and people. So we think of it as a zoonotic disease. It's actually carried by fruit bats. Right? And what I think is interesting, one of the interesting things about this virus is that it was discovered in 1999. That's not long ago. It was discovered after an outbreak in pigs and people in Malaysia and Singapore. During that outbreak, it was like 300 people got sick. More than 100 of those died.
That's crazy.
In
crazy
that
ratio.
Outbreak, bats had spread the virus to pigs, and people who worked closely with the pigs got sick as well. So you can kind of tell by that outbreak, 300 got it or so, 100 died. You can see how dangerous.
That's like 1 in 3, right? They're not crazy ratio.
Potentially deadly this is. It's very dangerous, very potentially deadly. Now, in terms of who is at risk, it's important to know that Nipah virus outbreaks have only been reported in Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore. Those are the only places that outbreaks have been reported.
Southeast Asia,
but the fruit bats that carry the Nipah virus are found throughout Asia, throughout the South Pacific, and Australia as well. In terms of the symptoms and what...
Yeah, we need to unleash the Batman on those suckers. We need to unleash the Batman on these bats out there.
Can happen if you get infected with Nipah virus. Symptoms can range. The severity can range from like mild to super severe, okay? And when we say super severe, we're talking about potentially swelling of the brain and even death. Now, we know this virus can be deadly from what I told you before. Typically, those who are infected with Nipah virus are sick often for like 3 to 14 days. And by the way, my source is the CDC. They may have fever, headache, cough, sore throat, difficulty breathing. But later in the infection, some people get that brain swelling or encephalitis.
Oh, shit.
And with that, you can get really horrible symptoms, confusion, drowsiness, even seizures. And people with those symptoms could fall into a coma within 24 to 48 hours. So you see how potentially very dangerous and deadly this.
Yeah, okay, that's the first time I'm hearing about like falling into coma. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's insane though. I wonder like how it's like, you know, how does a person feel? Oh, they're definitely unimaginable stuff, right? You don't want to be imagining that crap, but yeah, let's hope for the best, man. Just drink water, eat healthy, filter your water if you're drinking tap water, right? I mean, they say bottled water is equally bad, right? Because of the plastic and all that, you know what I'm saying? The water is turning the frogs, yeah, and all that. So you got a whole lot of that too, I said, yeah. Yeah, that's a failed Alex Jones impersonation right there, impression. Yeah, I love Alex Jones' voice whenever he's, that nasally voice, you know? But yeah, just I guess do your best and then let God do the rest. I guess simple as that, man. But wash your hands.
Now let's talk about infection, okay? Because we've talked about where we have seen outbreaks, but let's talk about how it's spread. We talked about this a little bit, but one way is through direct contact with infected animals, like bats.
Wash your hands. Do your best. Don't get too intimate. And yeah, simple.
For pigs. But you can also get it from drinking or eating food or drinks like fruit or raw date palm sap that are soiled by infected animals. So
that's crazy. Okay, so no more fruits?
That's really important. Also, you can get it from coming in close contact with the body.
Yeah, to my Muslim homies out there, yo, Ramadan is coming, right? And dates are, honestly, dates are amazing. I love dates as well, so you gotta be careful, I guess, right? Is that what she's saying? Don't eat dates?
Infected.
So don't go on a date, and also don't eat dates. Okay, all right.
Animals. So that's really important. Also, you can get it from coming in close contact with the body fluids of someone else who has Nipah virus.
Big pause. Yeah, you don't want to get too intimate, and you also certainly don't want to get into it.
You could also get infected by drinking raw date palm sap or eating fruit that is contaminated by an infected bat. So there's a few different ways that you can get it. And
okay, I want to know like what type of fruits a bat loves, so I can avoid, you know, you feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I guess dates are on the list, so if bat has munched on the dates, you definitely don't want to be munching then.
Once a person gets the Nipah virus, because remember we get it from an animal, but once a person gets Nipah virus, the virus can then spread to another person, so it then can go person to person.
Right.
So, and don't go anywhere because I'm going to talk to you about treatments or rather the lack thereof.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Let's talk about protecting yourself and protection. You know, obviously risk is in people who are around or caring for others with the Nipah virus, even healthcare providers as well, right? Because those people are around others, and we know it can travel from one person to another. The CDC says if you are planning to travel to or you live in an area where Nipah virus outbreaks have occurred, you need to wash your hands. I mean, that's universal precaution. We got to do that all the time. Avoid contact with flying fox bats or sick pigs. Avoid areas where bats roost. Or avoid touching anything that could be soiled by bats.
Okay, so if I see a bat, I'm just gonna assume the worst.
Avoid eating raw date palm sap or fruit that could be soiled by bats. Avoid contact with the blood or body fluids of someone with Nipah virus.
I mean, that's like standard, bro. Like, you definitely... do you guys touch, like, other people's body fluids? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? I guess, yeah, you would definitely mess around. I mean, big pause. Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't get intimate, I guess, with your partner. So.
And then, doctors, we certainly need to be on high alert, et cetera, based on any risk factors a person may have. So you see, there's actually some very specific prevention here, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a video on it, because this very likely applies to some of you who are out there. Now,
she knows some of you guys be doing a whole lot of crazy shenanigans out there.
It is a disease that can be tested for, okay? So doctors and hospitals can test you for it. The problem, though, is treatment. In terms of treatment, there are no licensed treatments for Nipah virus. Treatment's limited to what we call supportive care. That means, having the person rest, hydrating them, treating symptoms. But there's nothing that sort of gets to the root of the issue, which is the actual virus. There's no licensed treatments to eradicate that virus. And it's one of the things that makes it super, super scary. Let me know what you think.
But did you see this video, though? If not, check out this video on the screen. We have a UFO crashing down. Yeah, check it out, and I'll see you right there.